Hi, I'm Milton Rendell. Welcome to Real News Friday, and today we're bringing it to you from the old Swanview train station, which was decommissioned in the 1960s. Now, it's been a really interesting week. The findings of the Royal Commission's been handed down, and sadly one of the targets, which I think is fairly unfair, has been the finance broking industry. I think the media's probably grabbed onto that more than some other things, and I think it's been a bit of diversion. The services that are delivered by finance brokers are outstanding, and people don't understand that. They go and meet the client at their homes. They do present options to the client. They don't just give them one product. You know, it's been inferred, particularly people like Waleed from the project, that sort of infer that the brokers only present options which will give them the best commissions. That's not the case. Certainly not the case with my brokerage, Plus Loans, and I know a number of brokers have had the same approach to it. So I think it's very, very unfair. When you think about it, the brokers are able to present a number of options to the client, and that includes not just the big four, it also includes the second tier lenders. The second tier lenders are people who don't get out, who don't have the footprint that the big four have, and they're able to find different solutions for clients. And by not being able to get to those particular types of banks or institutions, I think many businesses would struggle. And I think if we start introducing fees up front for those struggling businesses, that'll add extra expenses to the day. And in fact, I think many small businesses wouldn't be able to afford to start applying for loans and using brokerages going forward. $1,000 or $2,000 doesn't seem a lot to someone like Waleed, but certainly to a little guy who's just got a little business that's only turning, say, $150,000 in the back street of Midvale, it makes a hell of an impact. So basically what I'm saying to you, and what my opinion of this is that I believe a lot of these desk warriors who sit at their desks get paid exorbitant money for just basic commentary that's unnecessary. They will affect Mr. and Mrs. Average. Look, the brokerages, are everyone perfect? No. APRA controls the banks and sets the regulations for the banks. The banks approve the loans, not the brokers. The brokers purely submit the loans. And that's something else that has been conveyed to the public, which is incorrect. Brokers don't approve loans. They only submit loans. There's a hell of a difference. The banks, in the end of the day, still make the approval. And this is why I'm speaking the way I am today, because I find it offensive the way some of these guys are presenting the brokers. We've helped thousands of clients, and I can tell you, we can go and talk to thousands of clients we've interviewed and given loans to, and they will tell you clearly that we present them a number of options, and they, in the end of the day, choose that, and we then submit it to the bank. So these, like I say, these desk warriors, they don't do their homework. I bet you they've never sat down with a broker and discussed the process of the systems in which we go through. Do I agree that we can probably improve some of the process? Absolutely. Do we think we can protect the public a little bit more? Yes, absolutely. There's not a problem there. But to pass on the cost to the consumer, the banks can afford it. The banks rely on brokerages. Now, over 59% of loans done in Australia are now done through brokers. Now, if we're to reverse that, and the banks, particularly the big four, will definitely be more dominant because they have a larger presence. And what will happen is the consumer will be inconvenienced because they won't have the availability of a broker at 7 o'clock at night on a Sunday afternoon to be able to listen to their needs and help them. This is an attack which is unnecessary. I agree. Can the things be done? Passing the cost on to the consumer is unnecessary. To remain competitive, for the brokers to continue, we've got to continue as we are. But yes, once again, I agree. Can there be some fine-tuning? Absolutely. Passing on the cost to the consumer, unnecessary. Let the banks compete to the brokers, not the other way around. Anyway, normally I wouldn't go on about this, but I think that this has been misrepresented in a big way, particularly in the last week. Anyway, speak to you next week. In the meantime, check out realestateplus.com.au.